Hello, sixth graders. This is Mr. A, and in this video, we are answering the essential question, how is volume different than surface area? Whenever we're talking about volume and surface area, we're talking about 3D forms. We're talking about objects that have three dimensions, but they are different, volume and surface area. They mean different things. So if we talk about volume is how much cubic units can fit inside of a shape, inside of a form, actually. I'm sorry. So this object here that we have on the left, we have to figure out how much its base area, okay? So we have to figure out how much its base area, and this area is going to tell us how many cubic units can we fit? How much capacity can this cuboid or this prism carry? Okay, so for example, let's say that the dimensions of this base is 8 by 4. Okay, so the base of this prism is 32 centimeter or inches. So let's go with centimeters. So it would be 32 centimeters squared. That is how much area this base of this solid form is. Okay? Now, this object is based on the area. It's built on, its foundation is on the area. So if we want to know how much capacity, how much this object can hold inside of it, we have to multiply the area by the height of this prism, of this solid form. So if this solid form is has a height of 6 centimeter, that means we have to take 32 centimeters squared and times it by 6 centimeter, and that would give us, so I know that 6 times 2 is 12, plus 6 times 30, that's 180. So that means the volume of this uh, form is 192 centimeter cubed. It is cubed because the three we took the three dimensions of this form. We took the length times the width, and then we multiplied those two dimensions by the third dimension of a 3D object, which is the height. So the volume is base area, base area times the height of your object. Okay? Now, when we're talking about surface area, hint, the we're talking about the area of each surface of this object. So, for example, we're talking about the area of the top. How much is the area? If we were to color this top in red, how much area is that? Okay. And if we were to cover the side, the right side of this 3D object, how much area is this? Okay. So the surface area, you're talking about the total area of all the surfaces that make up this 3D object. So if we were to peel off and break this object into just surfaces, we were we just covered right now the top and the right side. sorry, the right side of this prism, of this solid form. We can also cover the left side of this prism. Okay, so we're talking about the outside, the surface only. We're not talking about how much is inside the object, which is the volume. Okay, so this is the top, this is the right side, this is the left side. We can paint the back. This would be the back. And we can paint also the bottom. And then finally, we can paint the front. Okay? So the surface area is the total of adding all the surfaces that makes up a 3D object. However, we're talking about the outside, the shell, the surface of the 3D object. On the other hand, when we're talking about the volume, we're talking about how much, okay, so let's zoom in. How much, how much unit square, unit cubed can we fit inside this 3D form? How much unit cubed? So if we have 1 by 1 by 1, like think about like ice cubes, how many ice cubes that are unit that are made of like 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch? How many of these unit cubes can we fit to fill the inside, the capacity of this solid form? Okay, so that is the difference between the volume and the surface area. The volume is the base area. You have to find the base area, then times it by the height, and it's always in cubic unit. The surface area is the total, it's the sum of the surface area. You have to find the area of each side of a prism and then add them all to find the surface area. How much surface is being covered on the outside of a 3D object. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful. I'm going to put a Google form that you can see and check your understanding. And I hope this video is helpful. And thank you very much for watching.